This WAFLW live stream is proudly brought to you by Optus, proud naming rights partner of the WAFL, and WAFLW, Bupa, proud sponsor of WA football. And the West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams.
Are you ready? Ready to go? Are you ready? Ready for me? Ready and now to keep going. And I can't stop. Are you ready? Ready for me? Oh my, oh my. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Oval, where the Sharks are hosting Peel Thunder here today. David Lindsay with you in commentary ahead of this big match, particularly Peel Thunder. They need to win to keep their finals hopes alive here this afternoon. A loss would mean that they no longer can catch up to the fourth place Swan Districts, who lost yesterday to Subiaco, keeping the door open for the Thunder as they now run out onto the field. You can see East Fremantle already out there going through their warm-up at the moment. It's a beautiful day for football. A little bit of cloud about, but no chance of any rain, and just a little bit of breeze here down at New Choice Homes Park as well. We'll be joined in a moment by Emily Johnson. Time for us to take a break, and we'll be back with the preview for this big game between the Sharks and the Thunder. WAFL Women's Round 11.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First, a network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
It's a high ball.
Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while. You're literally in a hurdling. Well, I feel that day.
Yeah, incredibly exciting. It's a new chapter in my career, in my football career, but I'm incredibly excited to be here and a part of this football club, and I've been really impressed by the professionalism, the level of respect that they've treated me through this process, and I guess the core values that the club have. The product that we're producing now for AFLW has really grown over 3 years, but the next 3 to 5 years is going to be incredible, and some really talented girls coming through, and I can't wait to actually work alongside them, and I felt like I'd be a part of the family here.
We're at New Choice Homes Park for East Fremantle and Peel Thunder, round 11 of women's football, coming to you live here on a beautiful day here in Perth. It's a big contest. East Fremantle shaping up nicely for them. They're in third position, a chance second today if they over Peel, who are sitting on the bottom of the table with just one win, and they need to keep their hopes alive. David Lindsay alongside Emily Johnson. Just the two of us today, Jono. Big day for both of us. We'll be earning our money.
Yeah, hopefully we have enough to say. I've been doing a little bit of research, but we'll see how we go.
What are you expecting today? East Fremantle have a very good team out there this afternoon, and Peel were disappointing a couple of weeks ago against a very strong Subiaco side. They know that their season really is.
Yeah, definitely would want to out firing. If they lose this, it pretty much means they're out of the finals race. But if they can get a win here and come out firing, put some pressure on early, East Fremantle probably have one of the strongest lineups they've had all year, so it will take a lot to stop them. So Peel definitely need to be firing from all cylinders right from the start.
Sharks going through their warm-up, and see Roxy Root back in the lineup, having just been named an All-Australian from the 18s competition. Here's Peel Thunder, going through some very gentle bumping, you'd have to say, not really using too much energy. One of their inclusions there, 26 club, he really been back into the side as well. So they is out there, Peel Thunder today. And a sprinkling of AFLW talent. We'll see Sabrina Duffy, who would be better for the run. She's trying to make her way back from that terrible ankle injury she suffered late in the AFLW season. We'd expect a bit more from her today than what we saw against Subiaco a fortnight ago.
Yeah, she was a little bit quiet, but still, I think that ankle is still troubling her a little bit. But I expect her to come out firing. Hopefully, if they can get a roll on, she'll forget about the injury and get on with the game. So looking for a big one from her today to lift the standard of the team.
Yesterday's game, Subiaco and Swan Districts, they've had some great battles throughout the season. Another good one yesterday, Subiaco winning by just 1 point, which puts them 2 games clear at the top of the table, but they have played an extra game ahead of Claremont, who have the bye this round, sitting in second place. But Subiaco firming at the moment as the premiership favourites with 4 weeks to go before the finals.
Yeah, and full credit to Swans. Apparently they were 20 points down at half-time and then came back with a bit of a flourish. So expect to see a lot from them, and I think this competition keeps going. Anyone is in line to win the premiership this year. Subi are on top and have been on top all year, but judging on yesterday's result, anyone can beat them. And
we mentioned there a few AFLW players playing it here today. They will start to really feature in the latter stages of this competition as they have just about completed their rest period. A lot of them had a big campaign with Fremantle, and Fremantle were able to ask a few of them to sit a number of games. Of course, there's actually a limit on how much football they can play, Jono, so they weren't allowed to play the full WAFLW season, a lot of them being saved up for the back end.
Yeah, it seems like it. So they can play 15 games for the season across AFLW and WAFLW, but that excludes the finals, so they can save them up, stack them into the back end of the season, and get that team momentum going, push for a finals game. So
we're ready to go. Peel Thunder kick to the left of your screen, probably with the advantage of a slight breeze in this first quarter, and they'd love to put a couple of early goals on the board, put East Fremantle under a little bit of pressure. These two sides have met a couple of times this year, and East Fremantle have won comfortably on both occasions as Peel work it towards their attacking 50. Barndon just toe pokes it along. She follows up but overruns the football. East Fremantle strong in defence. Good tackle on Gooch, spills the ball free. A little snap on goal was blocked from Yaron. Good tackle. Will that be rewarded? It will. Holding the ball, free kick going the way of Barndon, who has started impressively in the opening minute, and she'll have the first shot for goal well within range. Great attack on the footy a moment or two ago, and lines up for goal, sets it to the right, doesn't hit it well, it didn't spin nicely off foot at all, and didn't come back with that breeze. But the first score goes the way of Peel.
Good signs from Peel early, just winning it out of the middle and just scrapping it forward to have a shot on goal. Good start from them.
So now they'll be looking to lock this one in. This is a massive ground, isn't it? Even for WAFL men's footy, it's big, but for 16-a-side women, it's going to take a fair bit out of the legs out here this afternoon. And the umpire is going to call 50 metres against Peel. The player on the mark running over the mark before the umpire had called play on. So the 50-metre penalty will take the Sharks to the back edge of the square. It's Rachel Ashley who will take this free kick as it is now from centre half back. Not well directed. Dowson getting in the way of O'Sullivan, chops it off and then chips her pass in short. A chance for Peel to set something up here through Bailey Malloy. She's 2 kicks from goal. Goes straight down the middle with the first of her kicks and backing back to take a good mark. The Sharks holding things up through Caden Lodge, who will go towards the outer side. The kick out in front of Plushke. Under pressure, gets her kick away. Dowson again reading it well. Gets across in front of Gooch. Can't take the mark, but does at least get a stoppage for her side. Coming off hands, it'll be a boundary throw in.
East Fremantle will look to transition the ball. They've set up well behind the ball with Wong ready to run through the contest. And they've got some quality markers in front of the footy here as well.
Bowie opposed to Quaif in the ruck. Not really with a telling touch. Veria is tackled and held up. Good to watch her in action here today. One of the state under-18s players who completed their carnival on the Gold Coast a week or two ago. She's back into action here, getting the kick inside 50. Opportunity missed there from Hardy. From her hands, it goes close to the line. Barndon puts pressure on Wong. And another boundary throw-in. But Peel with some ground position early Jono, locking it in.
Great lead up there from Hardy. Just couldn't quite clunk it in the end. But good signs from Peel early. They just got to keep locking it in and kind of squeeze the Sharks so they don't have a chance to transition easily.
Bowie came with a late run there, and according to the umpire, got into the back of her opponent. So Barndon, who's already had one shot on goal, have a chance of a second here. She might not fire at the big stick. She kicks to the top of the goal square, and that works out beautifully. Just sat it up, and the mark has been taken by she should kick Peel's first goal.
Good signs there. There was lots of movement in the Peel forward line, something that they missed 2 weeks ago, but that's really, really good to see. And Bailey Malloy presenting. She's not a huge body, but obviously can take a mark.
So Peel have only kicked 3 goals in their 2 games against East Fremantle in the previous 2 meetings. They got the first goal on the board here today off the boot of Bailey Malloy, and they have owned this football in the first 4 minutes of the contest.
Excellent start. East Fremantle just haven't been able to play it their way. Peel are just wrapping and getting it forward, but East Fremantle like the dish out, the 2 handballs out and go around the contest to move it down the field, but just haven't managed to be able to get some of that structure and get them in play. Peel, great start.
Normally you look at the fixture list and you see a match down here at East Fremantle Oval in late July. Think, oh my gosh, it could be dark and wet and windy, but really the conditions today are as good as you get at New Choice Homes Park. The breeze just picking up every now and again in favour of the left of your screen. So Peel would like to get a good start with whatever breeze advantage they have here in the first term. A lot of the time, though, while we've been here, the windsock on the outer side has been fairly limp just at the moment, showing that there is a little bit of breeze out there favouring Peel's end. Second contest in the ruck. Bowie did well to break the first tackle, caught in the second tackle, not penalised. Dowson takes the footy, pushed off her kick, and Fremantle setting up nicely off the wing position. The kick forward comes from Priestley. Searching for Versace. They're outnumbered here, the Sharks, but they fight on well. Strong tackle from Peel. Priestley had another opportunity. Hand pass intercepted. Gooch will go straight through the line of the football. Unfortunately, couldn't take it with her. Priestley there in support. Tackled again, Gooch, brought to ground. And that was strong defensive work from McKinley, who was very impressive, Jono, when we saw her against Subiaco in defence a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, let's just see her carry on that form. Her and Breslin, I think, held up their defence that day, so expect a lot more from her today as well.
Duffy this time, a very strong tackle on Tinson. And they have been physical early here, Peel. They were calling for a very strong attack on the footy and gets the clearance. Nice defensive work there from the Sharks. Working her opponent under the football was Rachel Ashley. Ball goes forward now, and out the back door is Roxy Rue. She picks this one up. She's in business. The goal square is open, straightens up, and there's the first goal for the Sharks. So Rue gets on the board early for East Fremantle, and we've had a goal either way in the first 6 minutes.
That epitomises the Sharks there. They get the turnover in the middle of the ground. They have the runner coming through from the hands from behind, and then a nice big kick straight into forward line. Just doesn't allow the defence to slide back and block goals. And then a lucky bounce there for Rue, but manages to gather and runs in and makes sure of it. So excellent play there from East Fremantle. Peel looking to shut that down as soon as they can.
So Roxy Rue, that's her 9th goal of the season. She hasn't played all games, of course, involved with the State 18s. Kick 3 against Peel back in the first round of the season. She's got an early goal for the Sharks on this occasion as well. Straight 18-minute quarters here in the WAFL Women's, no time on. And the clock ticking down from 18 on the scoreboard, ticking upwards on your screen. But the players out there will know exactly how long to go in each of these terms. Bowie with the football, spreads it nicely by hand. Atkins working it on well. Down McMahon with the outside of her boots, making a contact. East Fremantle again, controlling the ball well in defence. Now up, although the fend-off from Tapner didn't work, could have almost given away the free kick. Clever soccer kick from O'Sullivan towards the top of the goal square. Shrubsall's knocked over. Versace swoops on the footy. And there's another one for East Fremantle. Can't afford to make too many errors in defence. And Peel probably made a couple there. And they've been punished. And it's 6 goals on the board for East Fremantle. And we've still got 5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
East Fremantle just finding many avenues to goal. They've had 3 or 4 different goal kickers through O'Sullivan, Rue. Rue's got 2, O'Sullivan, Tapner, Spark and Versace all with 1. So just managing to find anyone really ready to take a ball. Peel just wants to shut that down and not allow that easy ball in, that fast ball in. So want to see their midfields lift a little bit, put some pressure on the East Fremantle mids and hopefully try and wrangle it back in their favour.
It's not too pretty if you're a Peel fan. They kicked the first goal of the game. Since then, it's been 6 on the trot for East Fremantle, and here they go again. Atkins with a penetrating kick deep into the pocket. Anderson leads in the race for the footy. It sits up nicely for her, but now she runs into trouble. O'Sullivan wraps her up. She really needed to get boot to ball quickly. O'Sullivan's rewarded for an excellent tackle. Does a good job down there inside 50. Applies good pressure. Wins her own footy as well. Too far out to score this time. Sits it up to the top of the goal square. Breslin leaps. Clears her head. At the back is Rue. Went the paddle. Needed a slick pick-up. Instead, East Fremantle win it anyway. The kick from Tapner back towards Bird from point-blank range. Somehow she's missed. Had more time than what she thought, I think, there, Lily Bird. And probably should have done a little better.
Bit of perceived pressure in there and maybe not hearing the calls from her teammates that she had a bit more time. Unlucky.
So another behind to the Sharks. 6 goals, 5 for them. We've still got nearly 3 minutes, or just over 3 minutes, in fact, to go this quarter. O'Sullivan. Quick 3 or 4 steps to buy us some time. Kicks into the pocket. Bowie can't take the mark. It comes from her hands and it's out of play. So East Fremantle kicked 8 goals, 4 when they played Peel in round 1. They kicked 6 goals, 10 in round 9. They're not far away from that score already. And we're not yet at half-time. They kicked 10 goals, 8 against Swans. That might be their highest score, I think. We'll have a look through it perhaps at half-time and see what the target is to see if they could set the highest score of the season. Another boundary throw in that right forward pocket. Time ticking away towards that half-time break. Peel will be very happy to hear the siren and reset, get the breeze at their back in the third quarter from the throw-in. Opportunity here through Shrubsall to clear. Her kick goes up in the air more than forward. Seth takes it for East Fremantle. Good hand pass, dishes off to O'Sullivan. Doesn't blaze away, kicks to the top of the square, but there's no one home. And the mark has been taken by Anderson for Peel. There is a player down off the ball.
That's Philippa Seth just getting a bit of treatment as she kicked it.
Her Peel opponent is a little bit concerned for her as well. Freeman pushed off the football. Ball stays inside the field of play. Rue has it right on the 50. Sends it long, but again, she's pushed it well wide to the right. And it will go through for a behind. Peel Thunder 1-1. East Fremantle 6-6. Seth is okay. She's going to jog to the boundary. The other player who's got a bit of an issue is Grieve from Peel. She might have a little bit of blood around about the right ear, I think, looking at the way the trainer was trying to treat her. But she's okay. She's popped up. She'll be on the end of this kick if it stays in.
Runs around the boundary.
Runs out of the boundary, behind the boundary umpire to keep the ball in, gets it back. And then a kick towards Barn. Good use of the body, got rid of her opponent, then couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Gooch is strong. She stood up in the tackle well. Yaron crashed through, didn't take the football with her. Gooch will come a second time here. Bundles an opponent over. Now she's over the footy herself. Ball spills out the back. The umpire calls for a ball up. I think her opponents know when she's around the footy, Evie Gooch. Rue with the early leap, beats Quaife in the ruck. Ball bobbles around, solid contact again. Grieve copping a solid bump that time. She's okay, back up onto her feet. So too Tinson as she feeds the ball back to the umpire. Rue wins again, opposed to Quaife. McMahon, good hand pass off to Gooch. Pressure came from behind by Yaron. Affected the kick. O'Sullivan, though, works her way through some traffic, snaps on goal. And it's only been their inaccuracy in the last couple of minutes that have prevented East Fremantle blowing this one wide open.
Yeah, good pressure there from Maddie Yaron coming from behind, just identifying that Gooch was going to receive the ball and put the pressure on that kick. But again, just East Fremantle forwards running rampant in their forward line.
So Peel need to close this down. There's time ticking away. It'll be a throw in. Around about 15 seconds to go. So if the boundary umpire spins it in quickly, there is a chance for East Fremantle to generate something.
Have a look at this. There's no East Fremantle players in front of that football. They're all behind the football in those forward 50 stoppages. Really interesting. They're obviously looking to run through and just have no one in front of them. So there's 5 Peel players standing there by themselves, and I think that's a bit of a tactic there from East Fremantle, and haven't seen someone run through yet, but keep an eye on that one for the rest of the game. Something that I think that they must have been working on.
They set up well, and they've done everything right. They conceded the first goal of the game, and since then have kicked 6 in a row to lead it 6-7-43 to 1-1-7. Brew has 2 goals. O'Sullivan, Tapner, Spark and Versace 1 each. Peel Thunder's only goal coming from Bailey Malloy at the 4-minute mark of the first quarter. And that's as far as Peel have got so far today. At that moment, they led 1-1 to nothing. East Fremantle have kicked 6 goals, 7 since then, and they've opened up a massive lead. 36 points is their advantage at half-time. We'll take a break here at New Choice Homes Park and be back with plenty to talk about during the half-time break.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
It's a high ball.
Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdling. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Half-time in round 11, WAFLW action between East Fremantle and Peel Thunder, coming to you from New Choice Homes Park. We're seeing some of the highlights here from what was a very dominant second term from the Sharks. Anne McMahon copying some treatment there from Breslin. I think she set up a goal from the resulting free kick. Dave Lindsay and Emily Johnson, your commentators this afternoon. It's the Sharks 6-7-43, leading the Thunder 1-1-7. 4 goals, 5 in that second quarter to East Fremantle. Jono, Peel, I think we've counted probably twice, got the ball past halfway. So it's not great signs for Peel right at the moment, but East Fremantle look a very impressive unit.
Yeah, and I think it's starting in their midfield. They have the pleasure of, they've got Bowie or Rue in their ruck, and Rue played majority of that quarter in the middle, and some of her taps were just straight down the throat of her midfielders running through, and obviously that punch forward is a tactic as well. So interesting to see how much that plays out, and obviously East Fremantle have their strongest team, so I'm not surprised that they are working really well together, but a bit of body language from Peel has started to drop, so wouldn't mind them see them work on that into the second half and start off this third quarter heads up high. They just got to get the first goal on the board and then get the second one and just chip away at it. Don't think of it as a big score, but just start chipping away. I think Hill has racked up the possessions. Seth started to do a bit more in that quarter for East Fremantle. Obviously Gooch is dominant in midfield. Rachel Ashley sweeping up off half-back, and Gabby O'Sullivan up forward has been instrumental for them, and obviously Rue middle and in the middle and up forward. And then for Peel, Abby Barndon's provided a lot when the balls got down there. Didn't get a whole lot of opportunity that quarter, but laid a fierce tackle at half-back. So I want to see her get into the game a bit more. Was watching Sabrina Duffy just come off the field then 5 minutes before after everyone else, and just seems like she's on one leg. So hopefully she's okay, and hopefully she can play out the rest of the game. Taylor Bresden, probably not her best game, probably need a little bit more from her, but I think Wrigley, Dowson and Shannon Whale are doing a great job there as well.
Comments from Emily Johnson here, part of our half-time package. The highlights: East Fremantle dominant 6-7 to 1-1 in the first half, but it's time for us to take a look back at the great work that the State Academy team is doing, getting our girls ready for AFLW.
Absolute thanks to both Adam Selwood and his team and Darren Fry and his team. This program this year has been 12 months in the making. Coffees and meetings and some heated discussions, some heated valuable discussions between the three parties. They've arrived at a result which is great for WA footy. Our young females now well ahead of where they would be without the involvement of our clubs. Eagles been fantastic. Access to Luke Dwyer and Adam Selwood, Jan Cooper and all the education, LD and Easy. Then over at the Dockers the same, Trent Cooper, Emily Bell, Lisa Webb and Kate Starr. So the kids are getting an experience at AFL level, and in Fremantle's case at an AFL venue, and in the West Coast case totally supported by the West Coast staff over here at the Showgrounds. Over at Freo, you can see Gemma Horton at work, Cara Donald. I've seen her in the gym as she goes through her rehabilitation, and then she gets to coach them out on the ground, training with Philippa Seth, seeing how she attacks. Hayley Miller was running around with the girls the other night. It's just an awesome experience.
You can see the development even over just 5 training sessions that they've improved, and in the game on the weekend to get to wear an Eagles or Dockers jersey and to play your heart out. I think that's something that's pretty special and something that they'll take through their footy career.
Just saw Ellie Lampkin there, who is normally an assistant for East Fremantle, but she's away at the moment with the State 15s. And also Clint Degebrot, who quite often sits alongside us, Jono. And it's fair to say that it's better when he's on the other side of the camera, isn't it? I don't think we need to see his face on TV too often.
Yeah, I won't say anything there. That's a bit harsh, but yeah, maybe you're right. No, they've made the trip. They're making the trip over to Tasmania to watch that 15s carnival. I've seen a few photos from the girls, and it does look cold, reiterating your point earlier.
Deggers is one man who does not like the cold anymore. He spent a bit of time up north, got used to the heat, and he won't be tracking very well over there in Launceston.
His skin probably likes it better than the sun, but yeah, definitely a cold week ahead for those two.
Now, the ladder has changed slightly since this was produced, because Subiaco played Swans yesterday and won by a point, so they're actually on 28 points, but the rest of it is as it reads here. Claremont in second spot, East Fremantle, assuming they go on and win this one, which it's hard to see any other result than that possible right now. They'll move up into second, but they would have played an extra game on Claremont. So looking at this ladder, Jono, the matches between Claremont, East Fremantle and Swans, and they'll play each other once more during the remaining weeks of the season, they're going to be absolutely critical to decide who comes second, really, and plays Subiaco in that second semi-final.
Yeah, and I think it's anyone's game at the moment. Obviously, Swans just missing the win yesterday by a point, but East Fremantle looking at this one, that's 2 teams on 20, and Swans definitely not far off the pace. So battling out for that top 2 spot, obviously you get the second chance.
And you'll need it, won't you? Because East Fremantle, Swans and Claremont, they're all capable of beating each other. We've seen it throughout the season. You don't want to play that first semi and have an off day and find that your season's over. Yeah, definitely want to get that second chance, and even getting into that second semi and a chance to go straight into the grand final, that's obviously what you want. But yeah, just a lot to play out for the last, I think there's 3 or 4 games left. So it's
turning up to be exciting season.
Certainly is. Top 4 make finals. Unfortunately, 5th place won't get through, and that appears to be Peel Thunder at the moment. They will be a nuisance team to come up against, though, in the last couple of rounds. If they could knock off one of those 3 teams we've just mentioned, Claremont, East Fremantle or Swans. Well, it probably won't be East Fremantle looking the way of today's game, but certainly the Tigers and Swan Districts. That would be a big blow for either of those sides, and we've seen Peel win a game already this year. So they will be a team that other sides won't really want to see on that team sheet coming up against them. Time for us to take a break. The umpires are about to make their way back out onto the field, and we'll be back with third quarter action after these messages.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
There's a high ball.
Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdle. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Peel Thunder back out on the ground in preparation for the third quarter. They've got a fair bit of work to do. They trail East Fremantle by 36 points as we move into the second half. Dave Lindsay and Emily Johnson, your commentators. And Jono, we were talking during the first half that there's every chance that we could see a record score here today for WAFL women's footy. And we've had a quick look. Subiaco hold the record, 10 goals, 10 against Peel Thunder in round 5. East Fremantle's highest score of the season so far, 10 goals, 8 in round 3 against Swans. So the Sharks are more than halfway there. And it's going to be tough for Peel to hold them up as their confidence starts to drop through this second half. So the early stages of this third quarter could be critical for Peel in terms of making sure that it doesn't really blow out.
Yeah, certainly. Seems like the breeze is definitely going to the left of screen there. Peel, the way Peel's kicking, so hopefully they can stem that flow a little bit. I think it definitely didn't help them in that last quarter, but if they can come out firing here, put them pressure on like they did early in the game and just get 1 or 2 on the board. Just get a score, get it in your forward line. It starts in your midfield, though. You've got to be first to the ball and you've got to try and win it. They just try to force the ball forward. If they can do that again, I think it'll go a long way in helping them.
There's certainly a lot of energy around the camp at the start of the game. Unfortunately, that has dropped away a little bit, which is probably natural when you appear to be the weaker side on paper and the other team's getting on top in the game. But you can see here that they're looking to rev themselves up for a big effort at the start of this third quarter, and certainly with the breeze at their back giving them a bit of assistance, then perhaps they might be able to find something. East Fremantle, what would they be looking for in this third quarter, Jono?
Probably want to clamp down and get those structures right. They've obviously been able to generate a lot of run off half back and move the ball quite quickly. They might test out a few different things and see how they go, but they definitely want to keep stamping down and really solidifying this win here.
Going through some of their warm-ups at the moment. They will be kicking towards the right-hand end of the screen, which is the end that they are doing their stretching and preparation. It's hands in for Peel at the other end as they get themselves ready for the third term. Bailey Malloy is their only goal kicker so far today. She kicked the first goal of the game. East Fremantle kicked another 2 in that first quarter and then 4 goals to zip in the second quarter. Roxy Rue, the only multiple goal kicker on the ground. She has 2. Did her best work in the second quarter in the ruck. She's got a sensational leap on her as well, hasn't she? We've spoken a lot about her kicking skills. She's kicked balls over 50 metres here today, been competitive in the air and on the ground, but her ruck skills are quite brilliant as well.
Yeah, it's. I think a few years ago she was playing ruck in the youthies, and there was state coaches and things saying, "Don't play her in the ruck. She's not a ruck." But she's certainly showing what she can do, and she has done all year. And if she gets picked up by Fremantle, it'll be interesting to see what position she plays, because they've obviously lost their 2 main rucks in Paris Laurie and Naomi Jans. So it'll be interesting to see what position she does play, whether she plays a forward or swings through. Obviously, Paris is a bit taller and a natural ruck, but she was an undersized ruck, so having another undersized ruck in the second year, it'd just be interesting to see what Trent Cooper has thoughts behind that one.
Spoke with Trent a little while ago, and he's quite excited by one of their Irish recruits, who I think could be a potential in that ruck position.
Yep.
So we'll look to see what happens there over the pre-season, and he wasn't just over there drinking Guinness and testing out some of the local foods, but apparently unearthed a couple of real talents. So he's quite excited about what he's going to bring back from Ireland, what he has signed up in Ireland. And we'll see those players in action throughout the pre-season for the AFLW and obviously into the next AFLW season, which will be a fascinating year with the Eagles added to the competition as well. It's going to be interesting. The draft itself, you mentioned earlier, there will be genuine excitement about that draft because the order of the picks will matter. It hasn't made any difference really in the past as to when players have been taken by Fremantle, but obviously when 2 teams are picking from the same pool of players, you can't afford to leave anyone sitting there that you really want to sign up. So one of those players Fremantle signed up last year is Duffy. She gets the kick forward. Leading back in the race for East Fremantle is Lodge, who controlled the footy well enough but never took possession, which gives Barndon a chance. In fact, it's Hardy this time. Off to Yaron, who ducks under a tackle. Unfortunately, her kick didn't gain any ground. Tinson emerges with the football, gives it off to Wong. Bundles her kick down the line. It's close to the boundary and will go over with the help of Ashley Atkins. Boundary throw-in on the outer side.
Good start there from Peel, getting a bit of run, doing what East Fremantle, a bit of run from behind, and a nice long kick there from Duffy. Just couldn't quite get it past that half-forward line, but positive signs early.
Boundary umpire MJ Jansen Van Rensburg tosses it back in. I think it's MJ. He's got a ponytail. It looks like MJ Jansen Van Rensburg. We talked up one of the goal umpires last time Waffle Women's was online. I reckon he's done some great work over there, has MJ. He might be called on in a moment here. Dowson's hand pass eventually is escorted over the line and be holding the ball. So great tackle from Rue. Had one sock up in the first half. She's got them both down to start the second half. Kicks long. Bird on a long lead. Ball didn't quite get to her. Defensive work done by Anderson. Bird comes a second time. Tackled strongly. Umpire watches on intently as Versace comes in and picks up the loose ball. And then she's been tackled too by Grieve. And there'll be a ball up. So the margin's still 36 points as it was at half time. East Fremantle kicking into the breeze here in the third quarter. McMahon onto the loose footy. Hand pass out in front of Atkins. Wanted to go backwards by hand towards McMahon. McMahon became the tackler. Threw her opponent to ground. The long clearing kick has been intercepted by Wong. There's that 2-hand ball drop. Kicks inside. Setting it up well. Priestley's kick. Away towards Hill. Bursts her way through the middle of the ground. Long to centre half forward. Big leap there. Ball gets over the back. Atkins just toe pokes it through in the end. Whale under pressure. Burt does well. Knocks it away from her. Top of the goal square. Kicks a goal. Well, that's reward for effort for Lily Bird. Fantastic forward pressure. And the ball just sat up nicely for her in the end. And she got exactly what she deserved. The opening goal of the second half.
Yeah, great goal from East Fremantle. That was a real team goal. It certainly started at centre half back. They just couple of kicks to switch it into the middle, and then they had a loose one on the outside, but Ashton Hill just taking the game on and getting the ball forward. Roxy Rue coming over the top of that pack. Couldn't quite get her hands to it, but worked out all right in the end. Ball kept bouncing, and Lily Bird, a nice clever goal under pressure, puts it through. Good to see from the youngster.
The football budget has her listed at 164 centimetres, Lily Bird, so there's not a lot of her. Still at school. But, gee, the forward pressure work that she produced there, her opponent, Whale, a far more experienced footballer, unable to handle the pressure there on that occasion. And Bird swoops. A bit of a pun there for our viewers at home. Worked hard to get that goal to Lily Bird and totally deserved it. Coming off half-back again. Like the work of Ashton Hill today. This kick to a 1-on-2. Good contest made by the Sharks, and in the end the ball comes back to Versace, who made that contest. Great work inside to McMahon. Long to the goal square. Rue works her way to the front. Can't take the mark. Recovery superb. Snaps high. Won't quite have the carry. How will it bounce? Almost straight up in the air. It's still bouncing around down there. Eventually, has it trickled over? I think it has. Rue gets up smiling and laughing at herself. Not sure how she managed to kick that one virtually straight up and down.
She almost marked it on the other end.
So behind scored, Sabrina Duffy with that strapping that's been applied to her right thigh. Comes down to take the kick in. Wants to take on Bird on the mark and slips over. Really got herself into trouble. Wants the ball back. Kicks long, but straight down the throat of Wong. Wong at centre half forward. Generally a short kick of the football. This time goes across half forward. Shrubsall slung in the tackle, thrown to ground, got her kick away. Bowie in the way, couldn't take possession. Tinson working hard, gets rid of her opponent. In comes Verrier, pops a hand pass away to Duffy. Kicks it high and long. That could have been a free kick. It wasn't paid to O'Donnell. Thought she was pushed front on. Peel get it inside 50. But doesn't Ashton Hill read the play well? Gets back to be the most defensive player on the ground. And then kicks to Plushke. Plushke's kick intercepted. Good attack from Malloy. Wants to play on quickly. Hand passes to Grieve. Brought to ground by Wong. Forces the loose ball. Wong follows up. Tackled by Dowson and picks her up off the ground. She had both feet off the air there, Sharon Wong. She's listed at 155. She makes Lily Bird look like a giant.
Very handy players, those little ones. And Wong, I can say, she's very hard to catch.
Bowie tried to take clean possession out of the ruck. McMahon trying to barge her way through. Had the jumper pulled for a moment. The umpire called play on. Hand pass turns it over. Rowley's got a bit of pace. She works hard in those first couple of steps. Unfortunately, the kick lets her down. Beats Barndon. Wong gets back first for East Fremantle. Lays it off to Hill. Great run from behind. Came from Lodge. And then she kicks high up and under. The runner gets in the way. That's the Peel runner. That's unfortunate. There were two Peel players there available to take the mark, and the umpire's going to penalise Peel because the runner came through that area. When the ball should have been going back inside 50 for Peel, it's East Fremantle clearing. Don't see that too often. I wonder, what would Adam Dancy be like in the box if the runner gets in the way? Would there be a message going down?
Potentially a message to the runner. He can be quite animated in the box. You got to talk it out, but a coach's box is a sanctuary. You got to be able to say what you want. And
doesn't leave the box afterwards, though, does it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Rue gives it off, gets it back. Pulls the kick. Spark up in front. Nice defensive work this time from Whale, although she just about falls over as she kicks. The ball comes off her heel. Keeping it alive is Seth. Gives it off to Spark. Snaps on goal. Goal square is vacant. Needs a good bounce, and she gets it. Spark has 2, and East Fremantle have the only 2 goals of this quarter, and their lead is almost 50.
Again, East Fremantle just with their run and carry, and they just transition the ball so quickly. Peel just find themselves chasing tail the whole time. So Peel just need to work on shutting down. Again, shut down that. Try and get the ball in their hands early. Really make something of this. You don't want your head to drop. You just want to keep going. And
been watching the Peel runner. He hasn't gone to the phone when he's come back to the bench. So whether he's ignoring the calls of Adam Dancy or whether Adam's decided to spare him. Everyone makes mistakes, and I'm sure that won't happen again. We have a secondary bounce here in the middle, and Roxy Rue looks a little bit sore, just hobbling as she goes towards this ball up. Will she contest in the ruck? She's put her hand up to contest. How will she jump? She goes again. wins it down, and she's really sore, Roo, and I reckon you'll see the runner come out to her very soon, although the ball comes into her area, and all of a sudden she's got some energy, gets the kick away, goes to ground after that bump, gets it inside 50, ball in dispute. Nice work from O'Sullivan, knocked it to the advantage of her teammate, but unfortunately her teammate there fell over. And
Just
that's Atkins.
watching Roo here, after that kick, she grabbed her ankle straight away as the runner gets to her. So worrying signs there. I hope she's okay.
Ball tossed in the air. Crashing away through was Tapner. Next kick smothered. The next kick is important here for East Fremantle. In fact, Peel win it. Duffy has it now. Gets the kick away. Gets it towards the wing position. Seth has it. Seth does well for East Fremantle. Steadies it with a nice kick inboard to Gooch. And now Gooch kicks nicely towards half forward. Dumanis. Haven't seen a lot of her today. Kicks nicely with the left, puts it into space. It's a beautiful kick. And on the lead, the mark has been taken again by Tapner. She wants to move it on quickly. Kicks towards the top of the goal square, but Shrub's still playing in front. Rewarded with the mark.
I got numbers here.
Peel a chance to set something up off half back, perhaps. Tackled was Carter. Did she get rid of the football? She didn't. It's holding the ball. So Evie Gooch will get the free kick. Gooch. Kick might have been touched by the player on the mark. Didn't carry the full distance we'd expect from an Evie Gooch kick, and that's a throw. Penalised is Demi Little. They want to move it on quickly again, East Fremantle. Chance for Tinson. Works on to her right boot, kicks to the goal square, comes off hands. Atkins is down there, beaten by McKinley. McKinley does well, although her clearing kick doesn't get too far away from the defensive goal. Rowley did very well under pressure from O'Sullivan. Off to Whale. Fantastic work from her. Long kick to the wing position, but Seth will win it back for East Fremantle. Short pass is good. Coming up on the lead is Tinson once more. Can she set up a shot for goal this time? The kick doesn't hit the target. Atkins at the back. Hand pass, hoping for O'Sullivan. Did well to knock it into space for Versace. Great defensive work from Peel, though. Versace forced to apply the tackle. It comes back out to O'Sullivan. Her hand pass just misses Spark. What can Carter do? She's caught. Well tackled. We'll see a ball up directly in front of goal here for East Fremantle.
I'm a bit distracted at the moment. There's something happening on the sidelines, and I'm not quite
a little disturbance
sure.
in the crowd. We'll keep our eyes on the football as the ball comes out of defensive 50. That's a good mark.
Good mark.
Gooch did well. She looks to the umpire wanting a 50-metre penalty, but the pressure from Duffy happened in the marking contest, so there won't be the extra penalty there on top of the mark. Gooch kicks to a good position directly in front of goal, and on the long lead, diving in low to take the mark is Atkins.
Good mark there from Atkins, and she does that well. She leads up and has played in all areas of the ground today. It's good to see her having a chance up forward now.
So Ashley Atkins to put East Fremantle's lead out beyond 50. Any score would do that, but she would expect a goal from this position. She's kicked 2 this year. Kick has gone away to the right. It'll only be a minor score.
Peel want to look to get this out, and they want to get it in before East Fremantle can set up, but they've set up quite well. Purely looking for an out.
So 50 points is the lead. We mentioned earlier the highest score, a total of 70 this year by Subiaco when they kicked 10-10 against Peel. East Fremantle have got a couple of goals to catch that just yet. Great tackle from Barndon, and she finishes it off by throwing her opponent to the ground, and that part was unnecessary. The initial tackle was excellent, but the follow-on at the end has found her penalised, and Tinson will get the free kick. It's unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of frustration there, but there's no need to slam them on the ground like that. She had her wrapped up. The ball wasn't going anywhere. She wasn't going anywhere. So just hold on and wait for the whistle.
Great kick from Tinson. Spotted that Atkins had a little bit of space, and she's taken the mark, and we'll see whether she might learn from her mistake a couple of minutes ago lining up for goal. She pushed that kick well away to the right. So Ashley Atkins hasn't kicked one as yet today. Quite a long run up. Gets herself into motion. She's done exactly the same. Just fell away to the left as she kicked that, and the kick as a result was pushed to the right. Minor score again.
Not the cleanest ball drop she would have liked. Just scrambled there as she dropped it.
Kick back into play is effective, and Whale takes the mark. Up against the boundary. A long kick. Gooch in good position. Juggles. Can't finish it off. Freeman did well coming in from the side. Gooch fights on. Bowie applies a tackle on a player who didn't have the football, I didn't think. And Veria will get the free kick. Another promising young player coming through the State 18s program. Kicks to Breslin. Good leap from behind. Couldn't quite reel in the mark, though. I like her up forward. I know she's a traditional defender, but we saw her earlier this season play a fantastic game up forward against Claremont. Certainly gives them something to kick to up forward. Intercept from Hardy was good. Turns around and kicks long, but there's no one forward of the play at all for Peel. So it goes straight down the throat of O'Donnell. She wants to switch, and there's players queuing up in the middle. Seth leaves it for her teammate in Hill, and then Seth leads on to the outer side. That kick's ignored. Kicks to a 2-on-1 rather. Rue unable to take the mark. Ball comes out the side towards Malloy. High kick goes to half forward. Yaron onto the loose footy. Put a head down over the football, and the umpire says, yep, you're taken height, you'll get a free kick. So Maddie Yaron can go back and take her kick, but she'll be too far out to score.
Good little passage of play from Peel, just Ebony Hardy attacking the football and caught everyone by surprise. Everyone kind of stopped, but then just didn't quite have anyone up forward because everyone had gone to the contest. But that's good signs there from Peel.
So the kick goes towards Breslin, attacking at her opponent, beaten by a shocking bounce. It's going to bounce all the way. Has it gone through for a goal? I think it has. No, the umpire says it's hit the inside of the post. So that kick from Yaron from about 60 out beat all players. Just about went the whole way. Peel's first score since the 4-minute mark of the opening term.
I like the move that they've put Breslin up forward.
Yeah.
They just got to get it up forward and they just got to keep it there and let Breslin do some work.
Well, the result of the game has gone. We mentioned earlier, we know Breslin is an accomplished defender. Would do a good job down there in defence, but Peel need to score. They need to find something to really get their game going. And here she goes from 50 out, long to the top of the goal square. Unfortunately, there's no one home. O'Donnell takes the mark at the defensive goal square. Her kick to Demanis. Couldn't take the mark, and then she's well tackled. Great chase from Peel. And that will be a free kick going to Rowley. Or Anderson, in fact. Anderson moves it on quickly. Barndon on the lead, forced to make a spoil this time. Hardy in there, held up by Seth. We'll see a ball up. So Peel enjoying some field position late in the third quarter.
See how they set up here. Would like to see Breslin just go all the way back to the goal square. She's just a bit higher, but now she's moving back now. Hopefully they can win it and get it over.
Well, they might have another ball up, I think, this time. Wrigley had the ball held in against her. So the ball tossed in the air. Time ticking away. Just over 2 minutes left in the quarter. Dowson swooping on the loose ball. Kicks long towards the behind post. Defensive work done by O'Donnell to get it over the line for a throw-in.
Peel just want to set up now and not let East Fremantle exit too quickly. They haven't got anything set up on the 50, but I just want them to... Oh, they might not be able to get out here. We'll see how we go.
From the throw-in, Dowson went to ground. Wrigley hard at the footy, tackled by two Sharks. The umpire decides to ball it up. She's shown some glimpses today, has Chloe Wrigley. In the ruck this time, Barndon beaten by Root. Still up against that boundary line. Dowson's kick is good. Gets to a dangerous spot. It bobbles around Breslin. Can she get herself free to have the shot on goal? She can't. The ball's held in. And the umpire decides to ball it up. So they've got the ball in a dangerous position here. The time ticks down towards three-quarter time. There's time for a goal for the Thunder. Breslin can't get the snap away. Close to the boundary. Priestley wants to take them on. Hand passes back to the top of the goal square. And they're calm and composed. That was great football from Lodge. Finds the run of Seth. And then Seth's short pass to Demanis, who marks at half back. Left footer, pokes one over the top. It's a good kick. And Seth, she's super fit, isn't she? She keeps on running. Gets involved again. Kicks almost to the wing position. No one can mark there. East Fremantle do seem to have the extra numbers. O'Sullivan tackles the Peel player over the football. Tries to put her hands up and say, I haven't actually got this one. And the umpire decides that he'll call for the football. Demi Little was that player. Umpire gets the ball back in motion very quickly. On the ground, Versace tried to get a hand pass away. It came back to her. Dowson now running away from goal. Hand pass over her shoulder. Peel will get it towards half forward. Mark taken by Thayer. Inside the last 20 seconds. They need to be clean here. Can they find a mark and perhaps have a shot after the siren? They can't. It'll be cleared away. Rachel Ashley does that work. And the lead of 50 points for East Fremantle will be their buffer here at three-quarter time. Dowson tries to shrug the tackle, can't get it away. And so another good quarter from East Fremantle. They kicked the only 2 goals of the term. The Thunder did kick it behind. It was their first score since the first quarter. But at three-quarter time, it's East Fremantle leading at 8 goals, 10-58 to 1 goal, 2-8. 2 goals to Spark and to Rue, and singles to Bird, Versace, Tapner and O'Sullivan for East Fremantle. Bailey Malloy is the only goal kicker for Peel Thunder. 1 quarter to go. East Fremantle in total control. We'll be back with the final quarter actions in action in just a moment.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Nature knows it's better to be part of a group than out on your own. To be surrounded by others whose sole purpose is to keep you safe and well. At Bupa, we call it Members First. A network of thousands of healthcare providers, all there for you. Search Bupa Members First.
There's a high ball.
Don't you diddle, don't you daddle, you better skedaddle. You need to run for your life. Well, like Virginia Creeper, well, didn't want to keep her, just maybe for a while. You're the lady in a hurdling. Well, I feel that day.
It's great to be back in the West. I've obviously been over in Sydney for a couple of years, and to be home in the nice weather and even better in the blue and gold is fantastic. Yeah, I was an inaugural part of the Giants squad in the first year, so been over there for the last 3 years and I guess experienced what it's like to be part of a new team and building something from the ground. So we've got time now, we're in the competition, we can build towards something really special, and I think that comes off the back of the first couple of years and just creating somewhere that everyone wants to be and play some good footy.
Highlights here from the third quarter. East Fremantle hosting Peel at New Choice Homes Park, and the Sharks lead it at three-quarter time by 50 points. Roxy Rue's kicked a couple, and so too has Stephanie Spark. Dave Lindsay and Emily Johnson, your commentators, as we look at some of the action from this third quarter. And it was a much better term for Peel after they really battled in that second quarter. Unfortunately, couldn't find a goal, but they did at least hold that momentum that East Fremantle had up and running in the first half.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, certainly in that last 5 minutes of that quarter, they had a lot more ball in their forward half and managed to get it deep inside their 50, but not quite getting a score. Bailey Malloy, I thought, was quite good at those marks on half forward, and obviously bringing Taylor Breslin up forward as well has provided a bit for them. They just have to get the ball to her in the first place. Hill, absolutely sensational, sweeping across half back, and she keeps breaking lines, and just that penetrating kick gets it from the centre of the ground into the East Fremantle forward line. Rachel Ashley as well. Gabby O'Sullivan's doing a bit up forward, and I think Ashley Atkins was quite good in that quarter. We saw a great tackle she laid on Katie Jane Grieve at the start, and then having a shot on goal, lead up mark and having a shot on goal, which was quite impressive in that quarter and good to see from an AFLW player.
Just saw the clip of the runner getting in the way as well. Unusual occurrence. Certainly don't see it too often in footy, but it does happen from time to time, and there was a free kick picked out which wouldn't have pleased Peel too much, but these things happen every now and again in footy. As we look at some of the other highlights, some good work being done at times by Carly Tapner in that quarter, number 21 there for East Fremantle. And Evie Gooch has been busy throughout the day. She's such a physical presence out there on the footy field, and never shies away in the contest, uses the ball pretty well also. And as you mentioned, Ashley Atkins certainly got involved up forward for East Fremantle. So
It's that dangerous tackle.
yeah, it was, wasn't it? You mentioned during the call she'd done all the hard work. She'd wrapped her up, held her in, just didn't need to finish her off, and was penalised by the umpire. Roxy Rue had a bit of a sore ankle during that quarter, so it'll be interesting to see if she plays out the rest of this term. She looks very sore when she went to ground, but did play a big part in the rest of that third quarter, so hopefully she is okay. And that was that kick from Yarran that just rolled and bounced and beat everyone and almost made it all the way through from 60 metres out. So the Peel Thunder huddle, rather. Adam Dancy just making his way off the edge of that huddle. There's the old 1-2-3 Thunder, 1-2-3 Sharks about to take place. It's commonplace in female footy, isn't it? Obviously, it gives you that bit of energy as you start the quarter.
Yeah, it's good fun. A few teams trying to mix it up and add a few extra words in there, but you can't get it too complicated, otherwise it sounds a bit scrambled. But it's good to see the cheering and at the end of the game when they do the huddle as well. It's quite a nice touch.
Yeah, I do like that. That Year 3 footy this morning, my son's game, and the opposition had a win and they sung their team song afterwards, which there's Adam Dancy. So Adam's just giving us some advice on the disturbance in the crowd. Yeah, it was an interesting one. Did have someone in the crowd escorted out of here just a couple of minutes ago, which we tried to keep calm and composed, didn't we? We a little bit distracted by it at one stage there, but he has been taken out of the crowd.
You did a lot better than I did, Dave. I was very distracted and didn't say much there for 5 minutes, but yeah.
The local police are here and just taking a few statements from people. We didn't see too much of it, so. But yeah, Anne McMahon was busy. She's on the bench at the moment. She's smiling, so hopefully she gets to enjoy her football.
Yeah,
in
hopefully.
The final quarter.
See her
here.
back out there in this last quarter.
Yeah. So we're underway in this final term. East Fremantle will have the advantage of a slight breeze in the last quarter. And in the second quarter, when they had that advantage, they kicked 4-0. If they can do that, they'll open up the highest score of the season and will record the biggest win. But there's a free kick picked out in defence for Peel, and Jade Briggs will take it. She kicks with her left boot, sending her kick out very wide to Freeman. Goes down to her knees to take the mark, and now sends it long down the line. It's a good kick. And Barndon, who was very energetic and involved in the first quarter. It's an awkward ball drop, but the kick is effective. Mark taken by Yarran, wants to move it on very quickly, does nicely. Grieve has some space, takes the mark and decides to go back to take her kick. Would have liked to have seen her roll on there and send that one deep forward. Big shove from Breslin. Ball didn't get to her anyway. Bowie taking the mark.
Grieve, I think, just needed to move that on a bit quicker. Just gave Bowie a chance to get back and defend that.
Seth on the way out of defence. Spots up her teammate. I've been impressed with Seth's game. Runs hard all over the field. Generally uses the ball well as well. Coming in to win that footy, Tinson. Well tackled by Verrier. Eventually gets the hand pass out. That's an interesting strategy from Priestley. Hand pass out in front of herself. Collected her own football. Just racking up the fantasy footy points. O'Donnell dragged off her kick. Grieve tries to sidestep her opponent. She's caught. Ashton Hill. She has been a very good player in defence for East Fremantle today.
One of the best games I've seen Ashton Hill play this year. She's been very good. But Katie Jane Grieve is getting caught holding the ball again. Just needs to get it on a bit quicker.
O'Sullivan moves this one on quickly. It clears the head of Root. I think she was trying to kick it to Root, but unfortunately for her, had a bit too much on it and it rolled away for a behind. So Sharks have been a little ways full. At one stage they were 6-4. They're now 8-11. So they've missed a few opportunities. Could have racked up a cricket score already. As it is, you wouldn't put it past them getting close to the 100 in this last quarter if they can maintain their composure going forward. Nice work on the way out here from Peel. As they'll take their kick down the line. Barndon is the target. Rue over the top. Great grab from Roxy Rue.
That was Atkins, actually, that one.
Oh, it's Atkins, it is. I was expecting it was Rue because of the leap, but yes, Atkins. A great jump.
They do look similar, so I don't blame you.
Oh, that was a great mark.
Mark
Sorry to
from
Ashley
Atkins.
Atkins. She deserves better commentary with a mark like that. East Fremantle along towards the top of the goal square. The kick doesn't have the penetration. And Peel able to take the mark in defence through Little. Wanders away from the mark and then has nowhere to go. So forced to kick across the face of goal. Needs a bit of work from Grieve. Wong got into the back of her opponent. Gave away the free kick.
Knew she was outsized there, Wong, so just infringed in the back there.
So the kick from Grieve. Dangerous one towards Verrier. O'Sullivan comes in. Good hand pass back to Atkins. She comes inside with her hand pass to Tinson. Will give it back to Atkins. O'Sullivan wants it back herself. Atkins ignores that. Comes back inside. Hand pass to Seth, who's belted in a big head clash. And 2 players are down and sore, and that's not good signs. The umpire's paid holding the ball. Free kick to East Fremantle. Seth's bounced up now, and she's running to the bench. Barnden's not too sure where she is. This time it's Rue. Oh, that was a massive leap. Couldn't take the mark. Recovers and kicks a brilliant goal. What a piece of football from Roxy Rue. Oh, what a shame she didn't take the mark, but she's kicked one of the goals of the day instead. Fantastic football from Rue. And East Fremantle's lead is out to 56 points.
Wonderful recovery there from Rue. I'm not sure how she responded so quickly after she got... She's up 2-story high. I don't know. I can't even say how high she was, but awesome recovery from her as well, and didn't need the crummers, evidently. And
did it all herself.
Did the job herself. Very exciting.
We'll look forward to that replay in the highlights package after the final siren. Now, the 2 players that went down both appear to be okay. Abby Barnden's just walked across in front of our broadcast position and made her way to the bench. She was talking to her teammates. They'll, I'm sure, check her out for concussion. So too Seth. But those 2 players dropped, didn't they, when they came in hard.
Forehead on forehead.
Wow. Amazing stuff. But the 2 players are okay. Philippa Seth is sitting down on the East Fremantle bench. They may well just leave her out of the game just as a precaution. Ball's gone forward again here for East Fremantle. Leading back in the race is Whale, but coming up to meet the football is Rue. Gives the hand pass away but misses the teammate. She'll follow on though and put pressure on her opponent. Briggs couldn't take it. Tackle applied now by East Fremantle through Tapner. Ball comes out the back. Rue applying a tackle that time. Spark joins in the tackle fest as well. And the umpire says holding the ball. 2 players on top of the footy, Whale and also Briggs. And they didn't get it out, so the free kick will go to Spark. She's too far out. Decides to kick to the goal square. In from the side, Atkins opposed to McKinley. McKinley almost did enough to take the mark. In fact, the umpire, I think, has said she did take the mark. So good effort there from McKinley in defence. Although her kick on the way back out is poor, and Spark will have it in the same spot. This time kicks inboard, hoping for McMahon. Good to see her back out on the ground after what she had to deal with in the 3rd quarter. Kicks into the pocket herself, off hands, out of play, boundary throw in. We've seen some action here at New Choice Home Park in the second half. Most of it was off the field in the 3rd quarter, but it's been back on the field in the last.
Very exciting football. It shows how far the competition has come with players like Roxy Rue getting up and doing their own crumb, and a lot of snap goals, skills better, and that's a pretty good effort there from McMahon as well. So the girls are playing more footy than they usually have. They're training harder, so they're getting fitter than they ever had. I feel like there's less injuries, so you can only see this competition getting better and better.
And with the programs that are available for the young players coming through, the school competitions, the academy that we saw featured at half-time on this broadcast, they're only going to get better. These girls that are growing up playing footy, they've got a football in their hand from a young age. They're not having that break that players like yourself, Jono, probably would have had to have taken through those teenage years. And it certainly makes a huge difference. Yeah,
massive difference. Like you saw it, like Sabrina Duffy has played all the way through, and I think Rachel Ashley might have as well. And Phil Seth has almost had an unbeaten run, but that's because she's gone out and she's kept playing at school footy and she played in those state teams. But there was little opportunity, but now there's so much opportunity for primary school age kids, high school age girls to play not only at the school but out in the community and have more opportunities like we saw with the Dockers academies and the Eagles academies and things. And I think it's very exciting. It's going to make for good footy, and some people said it's hard to watch at the start, but I think you'll find that as it goes on and as the competition develops and the players grow, it's only going to get easier, better and better to watch and more exciting.
So a goal to Tinson there. She was bundled over after her kick, but it went through for a goal anyway. There was going to be a relayed free kick, but Tinson is credited with the goal, a second goal this quarter for East Fremantle, and that goal gives them the highest score of this season so far. They've kicked 10 goals, 11. It's the 3rd time 10 goals has been kicked, but no one's kicked as many as 11 behinds with those 10 goals. So the Sharks break the record in WAFLW. It's only early days, of course, but it is the highest score in WAFLW history, and it looks as though it'll probably be the biggest margin as well. They're out to a 63-point lead. I guess a classic example, there's someone like Courtney Rowley. She's on this wing, the bottom of your screen at the moment for Peel. She is 15 years old, and she's playing senior women's football. Now, 10 years ago, she wouldn't have been able to play football at all at this age. She would have played till she was 12 or 13 and then couldn't join in the boys' comps after that. So great story for her, and I'm sure we'll see her pulling on an AFLW jumper in the future as well. Great tackle in defence from Ashton Hill, and she's rewarded. Well, no, she's not. She's penalised. Free kick will go the way.
I think she might have just held on a little too long there, but maybe a little bit unlucky. And saying that, with the younger players playing up, you see Mim Strom hasn't played a whole lot of footy, but all Australian in the latest 18s carnival, which is really great. She's played a few games at WAFL League level and has certainly fit in. So the more opportunities they get, obviously, the better they become, and the more competitive the WA side will be at those national championships. So, and it just holds them in good stead as they transition into AFL programs. It's just really, really exciting future.
So the umpires called for a ball up in the pocket. I think players thought there might have been a free kick there. They were running away to make a lead, but umpires called them back in. Duffy soccering off the deck all the way to the goalpost. That would have been special. A behind for Peel. The first score they've had to the right of your screen. Failed to score in the second quarter. They're on the board in this final term. Plushke to bring the ball back into play. Emerges from the goal square and then kicks. Ooh. Hill. Good attempt again from her. She's been a star today. Gets the kick away into the middle. Coming the opposite direction though, McKinley. Wasn't a pretty kick off the boot, but it falls into the lap of Abby Thayer.
Wants to give it off here. Not quite backing herself to make the distance.
Kicks from about 45 out. It'll land just short of the goal square. Malloy follows up and applies a tackle. And it's a high tackle, so the free kick will go the way of Wong. Done some good things again today, Wong. Quick kick on the way out. The Sharks able to send it long down to the wing position. Atkins uses her body, gets the ball over the back. Bowie comes through. Atkins has followed up. Can she win this footy opposed to McKinley? Gives her a big shove in the side. Play on's the call. Diving in on top of it, Versace. Puts a little hand pass out. Shrubsall was met solidly. The umpire says illegally, and she'll get a free kick.
It just shows East Fremantle and how well they move the ball down the field. Just a couple of kicks. 30 seconds ago it was in Peel's forward line, and now they're struggling to get it out of their half-back line. Yeah,
their system has held up well today. It's been very good. Tackle from Gooch was high on Carter. A free kick to Peel. Got 7 minutes to go in this contest. Duffy wants the little hand pass to the side. Carter decides, no, I'm going to take the kick. Kicks right into the middle of the ground. East Fremantle will have the extra numbers here. They'll win this football. Nice bit of work from Ashley. Now O'Sullivan lays it off. Priestley's kick into space. Wanting Lily Bird to run onto it. The bounce wasn't kind. She became the tackler. Priestley has it again. Tries to fend off. Hand passes back to Hill instead. Hill long towards Gooch. Little nudge in the back. Got rid of her opponent. Wants the hand pass back. Doesn't get it. The kick goes towards full forward. Bowie's down there. Opposed to Quaife. Playing it full back. The big ruck. Gets the kick away. It works out well. And they clear nicely to Peel. Anderson on the way out here for the Thunder. Kicks under her opponent. Goes through the legs of Hardy. Close to the boundary. Right in front of our broadcast position. Sliding in, Rachel Ashley takes it over for a boundary throw-in.
I've liked Rachel Ashley's game today. Haven't seen her do a lot in the other games that I've seen, but very impressed with her today in the middle back there, just attacking through the ball and being able to get it out and separating the play with the big handballs.
Throwing goes over the back of the rucks. Gooch gets the kick forward. It'll bounce out of play, which will be a free kick to Peel with the last possession rule. It's one of a few rules that have been trialled at this level. I think they're looking at how they affect the women's game to give them a bit of a guide as to whether the men's game would benefit from that sort of rule. The South Australian men's competition, the SANFL, used the last possession out of bounds between the arcs rule as well. Haven't seen it in WAFL men's footy just yet. Over the top of the football there is Dowson, and the umpire will call for a bounce. Wonder if we'll see that rule brought into men's footy over the next few years, Jono.
It's an interesting one because obviously men can kick a lot further than the girls. So if they do bring it in, you see that it will certainly open the men's game up. I'm not sure how it works in the SANFL, but it will definitely be a game changer and be a big adjustment for teams because setting up for a stoppage is a lot different to setting up defensively or attacking as well. So interesting to see if they bring that one in.
Great tackle from Veria. It's very strong. East Fremantle player slow to get to her feet. That was Rachel Ashley. Rue in the ruck. Leaps into Quaife. Neither touched the football. You might see a third stoppage. Again, Veria in very strongly with the tackle. Same two rucks will go at it. Rue cleverly flicks it over the back towards McMahon, tracking the footy close to the line. Carter. A lot of ink on those arms coming towards our broadcast position. That goes off hands, out of bounds for another throw in right between the Peel interchange gates. So these rucks are overworked in the last couple of minutes. Peel happy to wind the clock down and avoid any further damage on the scoreboard. They trail by 62 points. They kicked the first goal of the game, would you believe? 4th minute mark of the first quarter. They have not kicked a major since then. Holding the ball decision going against East Fremantle this time. And Barndon, who was impressive in the early stages of the game, kicks straight into the opponent on the mark. Dashing through is Rue. Took on the tackler, tackled high. And she worked that free kick just on her attack of the football. Off to McMahon quickly. Tries to spot up a teammate. The mark was dropped by McKinley. Got herself into a good position but couldn't take the grab. As a result, she has to fight on and just force a draw.
East Fremantle wanting to move the ball out of that area. It was stoppage after stoppage. They just want to move it on nice and quick.
It was good for us, wasn't it? It was 20 metres away from our broadcast position.
Easy to see.
In the ruck, Rue once more winning it down. Barndon trying to follow it up for Peel. Tapped into some space. Oh, strong body work there from Grieve, I think it was, in
on
the
her
end.
own player.
Yeah, the bit of cannonball bumped her East Fremantle opponent into her Peel teammate. Again, it'll be Quaife against Rue. That throw up from the umpire was not his best. Favoured Quaife. Rue didn't contest it. Yaron gets herself through some traffic. The hurried kick lands at the shins of Freeman, bounces off those. Nice work from Priestley. Feeds it back to O'Sullivan. She's confronted by 4 Peel players. As a result, has to turn it over with her hand pass, and then Barndon's kick comes right off the side of her boot, and that's a genuine out of bounds on the full.
I think that cleared the
It
fence.
did. It's bounced away through the Red Rooster signs and had to be fetched by the Peel Thunder manager. So the free kick with Taryn Priestley. Got just over 2 minutes to go in this game. Just 2 goals in the quarter, both to East Fremantle. Long, high kick. Umpire spotted a push early. Advantage will be paid. Versace emerges with the football. Long on goal. It's away to the right. And she would have wanted better with her finish there. She had a bit of space to work into. Couldn't finish it off.
They certainly don't want to waste any time, do they?
No.
They're not going to shut this game down. They're just going to play it out and really ram it home all the way to the end.
Oh, dangerous kick in. Puts Dowson under pressure. She gives it back. Great pressure coming from East Fremantle through Atkins. And that work from Demi Little. She'd like that kick back again, I would think. See a boundary throw in right in the left forward pocket. Ashley Atkins just losing the back of her boot. She kicks her boot into the turf, trying to get it back over her heel. The throw in will go right to the hot spot. Dangerous place if you're a Peel defender. Out of the ruck goes Versace and snaps and misses.
I wouldn't mind seeing that a bit more from those stoppages inside 50 with the new rule that you can take the ball out of the ruck and you got a chance to get it on your boot. Good, very smart from Versace there. Would like to see it a bit more in this girls' game.
The kick goes into the pocket from Duffy. And they'll clear long and wide, Peel, and maybe get it out of bounds off hands as it turns out rather than on the full. So we're inside the last minute of play. East Fremantle by 63 points. The biggest win so far this season belongs to East Fremantle. It was 61 points against Swans. So with less than a minute to go, you can't imagine Peel could run it down the end of the field, the other end of the field for a goal. So this will be the biggest victory. It's the highest score of the season as well. And with WAFLW being in its inaugural season, their career records, historical records today in the WAFLW competition. Good tackle applied, this time on Caden Lodge. And this game just winding down now. East Fremantle, 2 goals in the first quarter, 4 in the second. That's where they did most of the damage. And 2 goals in the third and another 2 in this last quarter. Unless they can finish it off, they can't. The siren sounds. And it's a big win for East Fremantle. 10-14-74 their final score. They were a bit wasteful late in the game. They defeated Peel 1-3-9. The final margin 65 points. So the scoreboard there on your screen, a couple of points behind. The scoreboard here at the ground showing 10-14 to 1-3. Emily Johnson, it was comprehensive from East Fremantle. Peel kicked the first goal, and that's as good as it got for Peel Thunder. What was the difference between the two sides? East Fremantle clear victors today, and certainly, you said before the game, stronger on paper, and they were stronger on the field as well.
Yeah, I think they show they just keep it really basic. They don't go for the short 1 metre handballs. They use the longer handballs to open up space. They've got numbers at the ball. They hold shape really well around the contest. They don't all collapse onto the contest. So they've always got that back feed or that side feeder. They've always got a way out, and they know how to find it, and they seem to find it on every occasion, every opportunity they get. In terms of Peel, I think there was moments of this game where they fought really hard. There was patches in the games, particularly in that second quarter, where East Fremantle just got the better of them, allowed the run. But good signs from Peel. I think there is something to build on, and hopefully they can reassess and finish off the season and hopefully challenge a few games and maybe get a win on the board. It'd be really good to see them. I wouldn't write them off in every game. Definitely think they've got something to fight for. They've got a bit of pride to fight for. They want to get a win on the board and want to make the most of it. But East Fremantle just too slick today. Very clean. As I said, strongest team that they've had probably for the year, and it certainly showed today.
Is there anyone else that can come back into this East Fremantle lineup? Looking down their list, not sure of the availability of a couple of their AFLW listed players. Emma Swanson is on their list. She hasn't played a game as yet, so I'm not too sure whether perhaps she'll get a chance to pull on the East Fremantle jumper. Melissa Caulfield as well has played a number of games this year. So can they get much stronger than what we've seen out there today?
I'm not sure. Obviously, Mel Caulfield would be a big in, but I'm not sure if she's injured or not. And same with Emma Swanson. Shay Salby as well is a strong player. Erin Fox, Kate English-Hodge is an 18s Academy member, and Leah Kakamo has come over from Perth and has had a few good games. So they're probably like players. If they lost some from this list, they're probably like players. But I think this is the most complete East Fremantle outfit we've seen, and certainly they were a bit inaccurate in front of the goals. It could have been a lot bigger margin, but it was good to see them with an even spread of goal kickers. And I was writing down their best, but I've written down half the team.
List, so
it's just a real team game there from everyone.
So we've seen the huddle with the two teams. East Fremantle coming across, a couple of their players there, just discussing a few of the finer points. Really like the work of Ashton Hill, number 6 there, just disappearing from your screen. She started the game well and really didn't fall away at all. We see a number of these players have good bursts of play, don't we, for 5 or 10 minutes or even a full quarter, and then they go missing for a quarter. But I thought she was a real 4-quarter performer today. Yeah,
she definitely was. You called her name a lot during the call, and I think her and Seth play a similar role, and they just interchange it, and just whoever's in that spot at the right time. But I think Ashton Hill played a complete game. When she had the ball, she used it really well, and just breaking lines and breaking the game open, which is what East Fremantle do so well.
Looks as though we won't get the team song on camera today. Both teams disappearing down the race at the moment, so East Fremantle will go into their rooms to sing their song here this afternoon at New Choice Homes Park after a huge victory. 65 points was the final margin. Here's some of the highlights of the final quarter. A goal early in the term to Carly Tapner, or a miss in fact that one was, but these are the whole game highlights, I'm told. She obviously kicked a goal in the second quarter, had her kicking to the left of screen. I thought that might have been in the last quarter. We'll hold our breath and watch for the Roxy Rue highlight. That was quite sensational in the last quarter. A brilliant attempted mark. It would have been mark of the year without doubt. And her recovery was quite unbelievable to then snap the goal. And another apology, of course, to Ashley Atkins, who did take the mark of the day. And at the time, I got so excited thinking it was Roxy Rue again, and Ashley deserved better from me. Her mark was far better than my commentary on that occasion. But, gee, they were dangerous up forward. There's so many options for them inside that attacking 50.
Yeah, and Steph Sparky is, I think, a late inclusion, but just a trusty boot. Made absolute sure of that one and loved it too. So just so many options. They had 6 or 7 or 8 different goal kickers. There's not many multiple goal kickers, but just really, really exciting, and they just keep finding a way home. Some teams have struggled. I know we were worried a couple of weeks ago how Suba were going to score with the goal kickers. Obviously, Peel don't have a lot of the goals are kind of with all the same players. So East Fremantle seem to be finding answers and lots of avenues to goal, which is really exciting.
Gabby O'Sullivan there applying a good tackle. She was good throughout as well.
Yeah, I thought she was quite good. She's played a lot of forward in this game, but mid and forward throughout the season. So good to see her getting used to that forward position and really leading up. She's got a strong set of hands from her basketball background, and it's good to see her using them.
So the Sharks winning today by 65 points, the biggest win of the season and the highest score of the season, 10 goals, 14 today. Roxy Rue kicked 3 goals. And then, as Jono just mentioned, Spark with 2, and then singles, Tinson, Bird, Versace, Tapner, O'Sullivan, their other goal kickers. Bailey Malloy kicked the only goal. This was a great goal from Lily Bird. Oh, Shannon Whale just stopped for the moment, thought that she might just have to jump on the footy, and Bird just toe-poked it out of her fingertips and then finished off a very nice goal. And mentioned during the call, she's one of the smallest players out on the field, but she's fierce with her attack on the ball, and she reads the play so well.
Yeah, she read that one really well, and it just shows that Shannon Whale just stopped there, but Lily Bird just kept going. She just got that little touch, and she found herself in space to have a kick. So a smart little player there, very good, very exciting young talent for East Fremantle.
Certainly is. Goes to school at Corpus Christi, I think it is, and she'll be off to school tomorrow and tell all her mates about the goal she kicked at senior women's level on Sunday afternoon. So probably most of her friends watching the internet stream as well, cheering her on. East Fremantle will be in finals this year after today's victory. They'll move to second on the ladder. They'll be 2 games behind Subiaco. Claremont will be third on the same points as East Fremantle, but their percentage is far inferior to East Fremantle's. However, they do have an extra game in hand because they had the bye this week, and that game when they play East Fremantle, which will be coming up shortly, will be crucial. So too Swan Districts, who are in that mix as well for the top 2 places. It's so tight between 2nd, 3rd and 4th. That's that kick from Yarran, which was at least 60 metres out, carried about 40 on the fly, beat all the players, and then just clipped the inside of the goalpost. I don't think Barndon got a boot to it at all, so it would have been a goal to Yarran had it gone through, but it just clipped the inside of the padding.
Interesting you talk about the ladder, Dave. East Free obviously jump up above Claremont now, and Swan Districts in 4th. It's interesting because Claremont have beaten East Freo twice but lost to Swan Districts twice. So it just shows how close the competition is. Claremont had a big loss to Subi and a small loss to Subi. Yeah. So it's going to be tight. And
so next week is the big one because Peel have the bye next week, which means the top 4 teams. There's the Mark Atkins, brilliant grab from her, which means we probably should have the Roxy Rue highlight coming up very, very soon as well. That was the massive head clash. We saw Seth and Barndon both go down, and there's Rue's effort and the recovery and the snap. What a brilliant goal it was from Roxy Rue. So, yeah, next week on Saturday, Swans host Claremont, and on Sunday it's Subi and East Fremantle. So it's 1st versus 2nd and it's 3rd versus 4th next week, and the gap between 2nd and 4th is literally 1 game. So the winner of that 3rd and 4th could well jump to 2nd at the end of next week. And it's quite an amazing congested ladder from 2nd to 4th. And if Subi drop 1 to Claremont, then it becomes, to East Fremantle, then it becomes even more tight.
Even closer, yeah.
And they're not yet safe at the top of the table. But fantastic win from East Fremantle today. 65 points was their final margin. Unfortunately for Duffy, that brilliant soccer kick from the pocket didn't quite go through. Would have been a fantastic goal. Emily Johnson, you've done a wonderful job. Just the 2 of us today. That's all we need. Don't need Deggers or anyone else to fill in as a 3rd. We got through. Very well done from you.
Thanks, Dave. It was good to be here again. Maybe we'll have 3 next time. I'm very thirsty. I think I need a drink.
Yes, a drink of anything would do right now. And East Fremantle players will be celebrating with a drink or 2, possibly just some water, but maybe something stronger than that. 65 points was their win today. 10-14-74 to Peel Thunder. 1 goal, 3-9. Thanks very much to all the guys working behind the scenes in the truck, bringing you all this action here this afternoon. Congratulations to the Sharks. There'll be more action next week on the WAFLW Women's stream, so stay tuned.
This WAFLW live stream is proudly brought to you by Optus, proud naming rights partner of the WAFL, and WAFLW, Bupa, proud sponsor of WA football, and the West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams.